singing the song of Foundation lost in translation. Dominicano soy, de mis raíces yo no voy a olvidarme, soy de una raza tan humilde y tan grande, montecristeño por la gracia de Dios, dominicano soy. My dirt, mi tierra, as seen by the eyes of an outsider, is poor, sad, and desperate, bleak, broken, and desolate. My people, mi gente, live with no running water, the heat of the sun burning and tainting their Spanish-colored flesh into Haitian, Jamaican, African soul. The trees echo the cries of starving children, the sorrows of fallen women. But my dirt, mi tierra, is much more than a third world country on the verge of cultural assimilation and dissipation. It is drum beats, keeping rhythm with heartbeats. It is a 3-string guitar playing old school bachata. Es una guira adding flavor to mami, el negro está rabioso, quiere pelear conmigo, decíselo a mi papá. My dirt, mi tierra, needs not the sweat of mis tíos and mis abuelos drenching the parched, putrid pavement, or the agua de coco, 2 pesos, agua de coco, 2 pesos, suffocating the streets of El Malecón. It can survive without foreign tourists, 5-star resorts, and the colonization of Mickey D's, KFCs, and SUVs. It can thrive on the fresh mangoes falling from trees, los plátanos verdes deep-fried in grease, and the sweet, strong taste of Mama Juana, Santo Domingo, Santiago, y Puerto Plata pulsate and radiate, stagnate and disintegrate. The song of these people is heard inside La Bodega, on the hills of El Campo, and on the rooftops of El Barrio. Ojalá que llueva café en el campo. Si es que cae un aguacero de yuca y té, let fall from the sky food, hope, and new dreams, so that all may be fed. Give them a name and a face, a religion of strength and decision. My dirt, mi tierra, runs wild with mujeres en la calle, hombres emborrachados, and barefoot boys batting baseballs with broomsticks in an ensanche. My dirt, mi tierra, is rich with cultura and deprived of justicia. My people, mi gente, remain seated on the seesaw of ignorance and independence. But even with all their pain and sorrow, there is one thing from America these people do not need to borrow, because you see, my dirt, mi tierra, fully understands que, ay, no hay que llorar, que la vida es un carnaval y las penas se van cantando. And although the land, the music, the colors of the flag, Dios, patria y libertad is all they have, life, love, freedom y esperanza courses through the veins of Santo Domingo, Santiago y Puerto Plata. Dominicano soy, de mis raíces yo no voy a olvidarme.
Empty wine glasses, time quickly passes, and you and I move closer to perfection and real affection. But what I want is love. Love without sex. The love without the sex that was found in the blood that temptingly trickled down Van Gogh's neck when he selflessly, crazily, wholeheartedly cut off his ear. Real affection is what I fear. Yet you maintain composure, and for the moment we've abstained once, twice, over and over again and again. I find you hard to resist. But I must insist that we take it slow before we go the distance, because it's taken too much heartache and headache for me to understand that my body is a temple, and I still don't know enough about that scar, dimple, or freckle to let myself go, and let it all be exposed and give in to what you've proposed. Because for once, I just need love. Love without sex, like the way the light reflects off every diamond engagement ring and manifests itself in every bride-to-be's dilated pupil. But you can curl up next to me. Talk about life, love, and what makes you happy. The moment is right. The rain falls all night. The perfect state of serenity. 2 bodies in complete harmony. And this to me is love without sex, because you see, love without sex is the energy that burned within the lightning bolt struck by Aphrodite that had Cupid in the back instead of Nike. Love without sex is the one tiny bubble of blood that erupts from your finger when you've been pricked by a thorn, but you cannot scorn the truth and beauty of a rose. simply, truly, completely. Love without sex is the way the red, blue, yellow, purple setting sun hits the surface of the sea as the waves crash against the sand that politely caress and digress the tips of our toes, forever reconnecting the umbilical cord that patiently, peacefully, perfectly hangs from the mind, body, heart, and soul of man to the sand, sea, sky, tierra, mar y cielo of God.
Yeah!
The words in my head cause multiple orgasms on my tongue before they are said, because the purpose of my poignantly powerful, predictable poetry is not to be recorded in history, but etched in the memory of every man, every woman that chooses to listen actively rather than passively placing my book on the shelf. A shelf too small for my book, because my book is not a book, it is an idea too soon for its time, but not considered one of a kind, because nobody wants to hear the story of a Latina anymore. We're just the victim, the mother of 10, pregnant at 15, yet always the beauty queen, the woman who can't seem to leave her wife-beating man. But why can't anybody seem to understand that without him, my children would starve? My book will tell the truth of every over-tested, understimulated, low-income, at-risk minority child that has already been left behind. My book will be an afterthought at dinner parties for the rich, presumptuously presuming to know what my book was really all about. An angry, raging, overly sensitive, wannabe, never gonna be recognized poet, trying to cope with her own inadequacies by pointing out the majorities. But what they'll fail to see is that while they waited for the revolution, my poetry is the revolution. And this revolution can be found only in the mind, rarely written on paper, notebook paper, tissue paper. Where are your papers? ¿Dónde están mis papeles? Where are your papers? Asks the officer again as he begins the process of my deportation and expulsion from my homeland. Because the only papers I carry tell of who I am, but only from my perspective. Not la amiga, la ley, or el estado's expectation. You see, I've come to the realization that my poetry is the barbaric yacht that I will sound from all the rooftops of the world, because it is the only way I can be sure my words will echo.